Welcome to Cloudy Knit Crochet. My name is Lori and I would love to crochet up a storm with you. So please subscribe and hit the notification bell. In this episode, I will show you some finished objects that I completed this year. Okay, right now I'm at my daughter's house and my grandsons are at school right now. So I'm playing not the tooth fairy, but the rug fairy. And I'm putting rugs in their rooms. And they have no idea that they're going to come home to a rug in the room. So let's go across the hall here and we'll go into my other grandson's room. And I'll show you that rug that I made. I am so excited. I can't wait for them to get home to see how they like their rugs. Now let me tell you about the rugs that I made. This one you see here, I made by Ladybird Loves Mystery Crochet Along. And I'll leave that link in the description box below. The crochet along went for 5 weeks, and each week you did about 3 rows. And for this rug, the Mandala Floor rug, I found a free pattern, and I'll leave that link in the description box below. Making up both these rugs went really quick. I used a bulky yarn with both of the rugs, and I really had fun making them. Let me know in the comments below, have you ever made a rug before? Okay, let's take a walk over here and I'll show you my other finished objects. This hat here was the Marley Bird game day for Super Bowl, and I made that back in February. And the game day with Marley Bird is really fun. You crochet all day long. Every hour you get the next clue, and it's a mystery, and you have no idea what you're going to be making. So this stitch work on this hat, check it out. It was a little challenging for me, and I do enjoy a good challenge. So I made that hat. And then over here was another mystery crochet along that I did. And this one I did, I think it was just a couple months ago. And it was a mystery crochet along by Crafty Yarn Owl with Darla. And this crochet along was either a 4 or 5 week project. So every week you got a clue, and she told you to get 2 contrasting yarns. And again, I had no idea what I was making, and it turned out to be a cute little purse. And oh, I did. Okay, let me show you inside. I forgot that I did this. So I lined my first crochet bag, and I found it was really simple if you have a sewing machine. So what I did is I just cut out the material, and the size of the material, I cut it about an inch wider on the top and the bottom of the bag, and I stitched that up, turned it with the right side facing on the inside of the bag, and then I just took my sewing machine and sewed around the edge. So I had fun lining my first crochet bag, and when I saw this fabric in my sewing room, I'm like, oh, that'll work perfect, because the orange and white, it was real fall colors, and fall is definitely my favorite season of the year. Now my next finished object is laying on my chair here, and I will talk about that in the next segment. Okay, let me tell you about my next finished object that I made. Now, this one kind of has a story, so let me see if I could explain to you what I did. I found this pattern online. I can't remember what pattern it was, and it was a pattern to make a rectangled wrap using this stitch that you see here. Now, after I finished making the wrap, I went with their dimensions that they were saying to make the wrap. Well, after I finished making it, I realized, the wrap, the width of it was a good width for me, but the length of it was not long enough. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I finished this project and it's not long enough, and I did not want to rip it out. So I came up with an idea. I purchased this book on Amazon, and it's called The Step-by-Step Guide to 200 Crochet Stitches. So at this point, I thought, okay, let's take some different stitches out of here and add on to this wrap. And I've always wanted to make a pocket shawl. So I'm like, I know, instead of doing a wrap, I'm going to turn this into a pocket shawl. And at this point, I didn't use a pattern. I just kind of winged it. I picked different patterns out of this book, and let me show you what I came up with. So, right here on the bottom, if you could see this, okay, right here, okay, from right here over, this was the pattern I was doing when I was making the wrap, and it wasn't long enough. So I had to add another stitch to it on either side of the wrap. So I found this stitch work right here in the book that I showed you. And I added probably about, I don't know, that's probably about 7 inches, I'd say. So I added 7 inches on this end, and then I also added it to the other end of the shawl. So now I got the length of this shawl perfect. So then I'm like, okay, now I want to make a pocket shawl. So I am so sorry, but I did not write down the stitches that I used when I was making this. I was just kind of doing it as I go and wasn't making any kind of notes. So then I thought, okay, I need to put some pockets on. So I wanted my pockets to be kind of solid, not lacy like the rest of the wrap was. So I think I might have just done a simple half double crochet here, and then along the top here I did the picot stitch just to give it some good nice edging right there. So I got the 2 pockets on, one on each end, and then I thought, okay, I wanted to give it kind of like a little border. So when you put the pocket shawl on, when it's on you, the front of the pocket shawl, I put this border on right here. And I think this was also a half double crochet, and I think I did 3 rows of it. And I only put that border on the front of the pocket shawl. And then on the other side, I didn't put the border. I just had it with just the stitch work. And it worked up really nice to where the stitch work looks real clean on the edge. So I didn't have to like go back and do a single crochet stitch to clean up those ends. It just looked really nice as is. So when you look at this pocket shawl that I semi-designed, I guess, by using different stitches, so you have this stitch, you have one, and then this stitch here, two. And I really like to see how those two stitches kind of work up really nice together. Like this stitch here, I was working this way, going back and forth this way. But when I had to add length to the shawl, this stitch work, I worked going this way. So I worked it in the different direction. But when you look at it, I thought it turned out really pretty, where you could see the different stitch work, but they kind of blend in together. So I really enjoyed how that worked out. And then with my pocket. So that was my story of how I came up with this. So if you ever want to like play around with different stitches to make one project, I found it was really fun to do. And that way you could say, hey, I made this project and I used 4 or 5 different stitches all in one project. So in the next segment, I'll show you a slideshow of my daughter and I wearing this pocket shawl. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. Bye for now until we meet again.